Hey y'all, what's going on? Before today's video, I just want to get into some things and just talk about some stuff real fast. So the first thing is I'm finally going to have a little bit more free time for a little bit, so I'm going to be trying to post videos more often. And I know I haven't posted in a while, and that's because I tried to make a bet with myself to see if I could get immortal before my next video. And unfortunately, some unexpected things happened, and I've just decided I'm going to make a video now. But I am still going to do a special immortal video so I can use that clickbait to get some sweet, sweet views. But yeah, I'm going to try to post some more videos, and then once I can finally get my button gear and hit that immortal, we'll be getting a special immortal video. So that's all for now. See you at the end of the video. So the purpose of this video is obviously going to be how to become consistent. And before we get into that, I just want to give one common misconception that people usually have with consistency is being a consistent player doesn't always mean that you're just going to be a frag boss, top frag match MVP every match. Now, I mean, if you're just good enough and you're that guy, of course you can match MVP every match. But consistency is going to be how to optimize your games to give you the best results so that you can actually win games and gain elo. Because I'd rather go mid frag and rank up than top frag and lose every damn game I play. So we'll just go into that, some things to do to become consistent. Now, the first and probably the most obvious thing when it comes to consistency is practice slash warming up. Now, I'm not saying practice as in you have to spend like 2 hours a day in the range, perfecting your aim. But no, like, just take some time, every time you're going to play to just practice your aim, warm up a little bit. And then another thing is don't get like a super routine where you're like doing these exact set of drills over and over and over, playing exactly 3.5 death matches before you get into your game. Don't do that. Just do what you want to do what you feel like you need to do, whether that's a little bit of time in the range, a death match, a team death match, maybe 2 death matches, a little bit of time in the range. Just do whatever you can to, get that blood flowing through your thumbs and just making you feel good with yourself and just a confident player so you can go into your games with a good mindset. Now, building off of that, the next part of consistency is having a good mindset. Now, in the words of my English teacher, my favorite English teacher actually, all bad writing begins with bad thinking. We can take this mentality and apply it to our competitive games in Valorant. I know, crazy, right? School's actually applying to something outside of school, right? And how we can interpret that is all bad thinking leads to bad playing. If you think negatively about yourself, that, oh, I suck, that I'm not good, that I'm trash, that I'm going to go in there and lose every game, chances are you're going to go in there, you're going to miss shots, you're going to lose every game you play, you're just not going to have a fun time. But if you think positively, be confident in yourself and just play the game, man. Just play and just have that positive mindset, and you'll just already start to see an improvement in your gameplay, and it's just really helpful to just get into the right mindset before you play. Now, the next part of mental is performance anxiety. Now, from talent shows to sports events to queuing competitive in Valorant, at some point, everyone in their life has had a moment where they've had a bit of nervousness or anxiety for how the performance is going to go. And just one thing I want to say about that is your emotions lie to you, and how they do that is because they use the way you're thinking to make you feel a certain way. Like, if you've noticed, the feelings you get when you're nervous and when you're excited are the exact same sensation. It's just how you're processing it in your mind that's different. So when you're feeling that nervousness and you're feeling, that excitement, just tell yourself that you're feeling excitement, that you're ready to go. Hit some nice one taps, get some cool clips, and just stuff like that. Just hype yourself up before the game to, again, boost your confidence and get into that mentality. Now, another reason for feeling performance anxiety is because you're scared to lose your rank. Now, let me tell you the truth about your rank. It's just some little cool icon that gives you internet cool points that means nothing to the real world. It's not that important. If you are scared of losing your rank, you need to try 2 things. The first one works only for a specific set of people who are able to just stop caring about the outcome of the game and just, as I said earlier, just play. Don't care about the win, don't care about the loss, just play the game, man. Now, for me and most of you, you probably can't do that every single game. And if you really struggle with that, what I'd recommend is getting another account of a similarly ranked matchmaking, right? You don't want to play in silver if you're a diamond player. That defeats the whole purpose. Get 2 accounts that are probably like within a couple ranks of each other, like maybe a diamond and an ascendant account, and then just play on whichever one has the lower rank, even if it's by 1 point of elo. Play on the one that's lower ranked because then you have less to lose if you lose the game because you still have your higher rated account. And although you will climb slower, it just helps if your real anxiety is really that bad. And then once you get used to, just playing the game, you could probably just go back to queuing on your main. Now, the last and probably the most underrated part of performance anxiety is to find a group of buddies to play with, right? Because when you're in solo queue, there's just a lot more pressure to perform, and do well and carry your team. Because when you're in solo queue, you're technically in a 1v9, right? But if you get some buddies, you could even be in a 2v8 or even a 3v7 if you're lucky. And just getting those extra people there, makes you have more fun because you have friends around you. And when you have those hype moments, they'll be your hype men and just hype you up and help you perform at a higher level. Now, going right off of that, again, find a group of people to play with. This will help your games go more consistent because there will be more constants in your game that you can count on and less variables that you don't know how they're going to do. And yes, while your friends sometimes may have bad games, it's just better for you because you know how to play with them and play off of them. And that's the other part about finding friends is play with people who match your play style, right? Who can adjust to you, whom you can adjust to. Because, right, if I'm like a passive player, for example, and I'm queuing with an over-aggressive, ego-peaking duelist, we might be able to win games, we might work, but that's just our individual strengths. Whereas if I queue with one of my bros and we're like almost on the same level of aggression, we can make plays together, we can do all sorts of things together. And so just having people that you can play with that match your kind of style will just help you so much in the climb of consistency because, again, you guys can bounce off each other. It just makes for a better experience. And the other thing with that is please use your game chat and then talk to your actual teammates that are not your friends because they might suit your playstyles too, and you just got to coordinate with them. And if they're willing to talk and listen, you can still come up with plays because they're willing to play off of you and adjust to you, especially if you put yourself in that leader role like I do. But yeah, anyway, I know I've been talking for a long time about this, but just find ways to be more consistent in your teammates so that it relies less on you being like a all-out frag demon. Now, the next part of consistency is something I think is very, very obscure, and it's what I'm going to call the consistency paradox. This basically means that in order to be a consistent player, you have to be able to change and adapt to what's going on around you. You have to be able to mold yourself to the playstyles of your teammates and be able to adapt and counter the playstyles of your enemies. Because if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's just not going to work out for you, it's not going to be a good time, and you won't be able to win at all. It'll just not be fun. And as my favorite football coach would say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If you're running it out A every round and dying every round, and you keep running it out A, chances are you're going to keep dying. Like, you'd be an insane person to think that you can just keep running it out A and eventually it'll work. You have to change something so that you can actually play the game and win. Now, there are many scenarios where you can find yourself having to adapt to what's going on around you, so I'm just going to list a couple that may be helpful. So, for example, if you can't win your 50-50 gunfights, which is where you're swinging an angle, your opponent's swinging an angle, there's no outside forces, it's just 1v1, straight 1v1, and you're just not winning those fights, try to put yourself in scenarios where you're playing like cringe angles, cringe corners, using any use you can to just get it so that the odds are in your favor instead of theirs. And if you're still not able to win your 1v1s with all of this stuff because maybe you're getting double swung, or maybe they're just dodging flashes, hiding from util, then focus on team fights. I see this a lot, and I have to correct this a lot, is where like my teammates will continue taking 1v1s and lose them. But if we had just started playing as a team, which I tell them, and then we do, and then we win, surprisingly to nobody. But when you just play as a team and focus on the team fight, when you're not doing well yourself and winning your ones, it just really helps because if you can't win the 1v1s, maybe you could win the 3v3s, maybe you could win the 5v5s. Just changing your approach to the game will also help you in becoming consistent because you don't have to rely on the things that you're currently struggling with. Now, the final part of consistency is when and how much you play. Now, the first part of that is the saying quality over quantity, right? Like, if I'm Thanosing out like 10 matches a day, at some point during that time, my performance is going to severely decline, which gives opportunities to me losing, and that's not what we want to do. We don't want to lose every game we play. So what I found works best personally for me is to play between 2 to 4 games per day, maybe 5 or 6 on the weekends because you have that extra time and don't have as many mental responsibilities, but stay within a certain amount of games played per day so you can get the highest cognitive results. And with that in your games per day, like I usually will get off if I've already lost 2 games. Like even 2 in a row or just 2 games in a certain session, I'll maybe get off and try again later or just be done for the day, because when you lose and you keep losing and then you tilt queue and you rage queue, chances are you're not going to be mentally sound, you're going to lose again. So yeah, just like prioritize quality of matches over quantity of matches, and trust me, you will rank up way faster. Now, the next part of that is removing outside distractions, basically playing after you take care of something that needs to get taken care of, whether it's homework, chores around the house, or like something with your family members. Just try to play after those things are taken care of so they aren't stressing you out while you're playing, because even if you're not consciously thinking about them, they can still have an impact on your gameplay, so it's best to just remove all those outside distractions. And with that, if you think you have to go somewhere and you don't know if you have time for a game, do not queue up for a game, because then as the game goes on, you're going to check the time. You're going to be like, oh, should I have to leave in X amount of minutes? I don't know if I have time to finish this game. You got to hurry this up. And that'll lead you to playing as an impatient player, making dumb mistakes, and just, losing. So always give yourself time and make sure that you're in the right state of mind to play. Also, the most important thing, if you don't want to play, don't play. I see too many times where players are like, I'm not sure if I want to play, and then they play anyway, and guess what? They're playing bad because they didn't feel like playing that day. Now, sometimes you're stuck between where it's like, I want to play, but I don't want to play alone. You're scared of losing your rank or whatever. I get that too. Pretty much, you could risk it for the biscuit, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Like, again, it's very specific to you. But what I found that works best for me is to just, wait until someone gets on, and then I can, think about, hey, since they're here now, do I actually want to play? If I do, I'll probably play. Or if not, you'll be like, hey man, I don't want to play. And with that, if you are finding yourself between like, I want to play and I don't want to play, I'd say still hop on, but don't play competitive. Maybe play unrated, swift play, team deathmatch. Just play something if you do want to play, but you're not feeling like playing competitive. The worst thing you could do is play when you don't feel like it, because then you won't play well and then you won't feel well during the game. Alright guys, we finally made it to the end. That was a lot of information to digest, and it was a mouthful for me to say too, especially because some parts I've had to record 2, 3, or even 4 times because I can't speak English properly. But anyway, that's all for this video. Just, again, to reiterate, consistency is not about dominating your lobbies, it's about just finding ways to, I guess, break past the things that are causing you the most problems, alternatives, adaptations, and just basically, consistency can be summarized as minimizing the negatives and boosting the positives. So I'm just going to leave it at that. That's all. See ya. I might get it because of impact.
GG. It's good. It's good. I ain't tripping.